So to answer the first question is of what is culturally responsive pedagogy is basically the students' value of their culture as adding it to their identity. The best way I could think of that after reading the four or reading the three articles and then listening to the podcast, I found a picture online when I was Googling it to try to basically me trying to find ways to word it in my own words. I found a picture of a classroom with different color students, not meaning like different color, but like the colors red, yellow, blue, and pink, in a classroom talking to a teacher, and underneath the students there was their color of their identifying color is the roots going into the ground. So basically I feel like that is what it means. Like it basically is what their culture brings to their learning environment. um, and basically as a teacher we should also be trying to add those things into our lesson plans, and that's basically what the first podcast I took from that is that teachers should be willing to look into what their students' races, their race background is, and bring that into the classroom, into your lesson plans, because you want your students to be able to bring things that they know from outside and bring it into the classroom and have basically have them help teach the classroom that. I have taken a couple cultural classes, the two that we were supposed to graduate, as well as I think one for an elective. I like learning about cultures and things like that. It's just something I find interesting. I From all those classes I've learned that basically like it's important to make sure that you identify everyone correctly and you don't judge others. And I do feel like that is something that, again, like with that picture and the podcast, I took from that. It's just you bring that into the environment of a classroom, and you need to make sure that all students are allowed to express themselves, and if that involves them using things that they use in their culture, to do have that. So the next question is what might be some challenges for teachers? Basically, the best way I could come up with that answer was from the second article by Zeta Hammond, or I think that's who they interviewed. Basically, when she was writing her textbook, she was interviewing teachers, and the teachers were saying basically that they were assuming the quote was, they'd say it's a way to get disengaged students of color motivated in the classroom by tying a lesson to Africa, Mexico, or by using hip hop music. So basically, why that I feel like is a problem for teachers when trying to incorporate it is they don't know how. And if it comes off in that way, like basically what the article said, it basically makes them seem like they may or may not be racist, or again, they're cultural and I think the word is incompetent, and they just, it doesn't look good on them. And that's probably why, again, because they don't know how, they don't tackle those kind of adding those things to their lesson plans, and that is something that could be something that could help students in the long term. And then going to the third one of the third question is how we've done this in this class. I feel like that probably goes back to the major one is our first couple weeks when we had like, this is who I am, this is what I'm planning on doing. That allowed us to express ourselves and talk about it, so then you would have a more better understanding of where we come from, as well as our race and things like that. With doing that, it allowed you as a teacher, Dr. Ott, to go in and make lessons or change lessons, so then hopefully certain races of people can then become more engaged in a good way. And when they're submitting their lessons, or when we did our presentation in our groups, it allowed them to look at it and use their cultural background. If like a race that is more prone to either being like cyberbullying, for instance, if they have that experience, they can bring that to the table and they can use it. So that's kind of how I feel like we've used it in this class. Thank you.